What is up, my friends? I've got a new update for you. Star Citizen's final update for this quarter. Not really this quarter. If you've been looking through the year so far, starting with 4.1, the updates have kind of spread throughout the quarter because of how they're doing them now. They're doing a 4.1, 4.11, 4.12, and all of them are having like significant stuff in them. So it's a little, the lines are blurred. But 4.3.2 is about to come out, and we just got a roadmap update giving us, I think, most of the final bits of what's going to be in this update. It is the last one before 4.4 drops, and I think there are some pretty interesting possibilities for 4.4, but we're not going to get into that in this video. We'll talk about that another time. This roadmap update is the last one before CitizenCon. I'm going to go through the updates and what's been added here. It's not that deep, but it's some interesting stuff. We got a new boss battle and some new salvaging, which both of those things would be a surprise in other years. So let's start with the salvage. Structural salvage has been added to the roadmap. Additional balancing of structural salvage is part of ongoing refining changes related to upcoming work on crafting. So this is just another one of those signs that feature work is going on behind the scenes. We could see ramifications of this at CitizenCon, but things are being done in preparation of crafting. It's going to be a really big part of the game, and I'm glad to see this kind of stuff changing. These are like the difficult bits that sometimes you don't end up seeing when you're expecting work to come about, and you don't really see like the ramp up towards that big thing that's supposed to happen. So it feels like maybe it's not actually going to happen. When you're seeing stuff like this happening, that grows a lot more confidence than I traditionally would get in a Star Citizen development year when we're expecting something big. For instance, engineering has been expected for the past couple of years, but we haven't really seen a concerted effort or even announcement that all of the ships are getting reworked in line for that. This year, we kind of have started to hear more about that. Not necessarily that all the ships are being reworked, but they've definitely been updating ships more often. They're going and touching on ships that are pretty old. And so it feels like there is actual preparation going on for that kind of a big movement. Other years, that stuff hasn't been happening, and I think that's what makes this year feel a lot different, even though we haven't been getting the feature news. Either way, an actual look into what structural salvage changes are coming for those who haven't been keeping up with every video every day. I try to put news out about this stuff basically every day, and we actually covered a couple days ago. There's a material system variance, construction material rubble, scraps, and just regular material salvage. I believe these may have been renamed to large, medium, and small or something. Powder is also in there somewhere. I'm not going to get deep into the details here, but rubble has the highest density and the fastest refinery processing time, while scraps are not something that will come in 4.3.2, as none of the current salvaging ships can produce it, but will sit in the middle across density, yield, and processing. So again, this is all preparation. They're actually giving more details for things that are in progress. This is reminiscent of the item recovery update, which again is different from how they normally do their roadmaps on their features. Usually they give us whatever update they have to say on a feature, and they're not really going to tell us anything that's solidified about the feature's design going forward. But with item recovery, they've done it. Now with salvage, they're doing it. It feels like their development on these things is starting to be a little bit more cohesive. There's also an update to refinery decks here with this stuff. Basically, salvaging is going to require refining in the same way that mining did. And as we move forward, eventually, when you salvage something and refine it, you're going to get the actual materials from the thing you salvage. So if you get a ship and that ship is made of certain parts, and you salvage those parts, you're going to get certain material, and then you can sell that or craft with it or something like that. And that's, you kind of start to, you turn the gears in your head, you can hear the player economy starting to form there. There's also an FPS tractor beam improvement coming with this. I've seen it. It looks pretty nice. They're feeling more responsive. They're going to keep their weight limits, so you still have to get the biggest tool for the best control, and you do still have to mention or think about the distance that you're pulling things from with whatever tool you're using, but they are going to be more responsive than they have been before. And then besides that, there are mission updates. Foundation, a stepping stone towards structural salvage, they're saying we want to see for crafting. As always, we'll be monitoring your feedback closely once 4.3.2 drops to the PTU environment. And even if you're going to this live in the actual, live servers, you can still leave feedback. They're still looking for that kind of stuff. So don't think just because you missed out on PTU, you don't get a say. Moving on from salvage, though, we've also got a Klaus and Werner laser repeater art refactor. This is a fairly insignificant update, but it's good that they're keeping everything up to date. Further differentiating guns, making them look different based on their size, and getting everything up to a certain standard. Just like the ships are going through their gold standard reworks, we're seeing all of the old weapons, FPS, ship-based, even armors are going through like a balancing pass at this point where they're getting little things tweaked in preparation for an actual game. New Wicklow ship offerings are coming in 4.3.2 for those of you who actually try for that kind of stuff. The Crusader A2 Hercules, the Ares Starfighter Inferno and Ion, the Prowler Utility are all getting upgraded components and unique based liveries from Wicklow, and these rewards can be unlocked by completing his contracts. I haven't touched on Wicklow in a long time. In fact, I've never turned anything into him. I've just never done anything with Wicklow. This is something I'm going to have to test out during the quieter period of the year. Maybe during January we go through this and see like how hard is Wicklow really, because I've heard some stories. I've heard some things. Next up, AI FPS turrets, adding anti-personnel turrets for players to avoid or destroy, providing additional PvE challenges. It says they've updated the visuals on the card, but then when I come to look at the visuals on the card, it's just this. So I guess here's your update. Dude, this has bounced from update to update, literally for like, I want to say almost 2 quarters, probably like 3 updates, a quarter and a half at this point. AI turrets have been evading us, which is a bummer because I think these are really important to get into the game. When we start to talk about risk and reward, about allowing people to actually do the things they need to do at outposts and not be blocked by an armistice zone and not being able to use their tractor beam or whatever, AI turrets are the key to that. We need the ability to have these level 10, kill you, yeet, yeet, yoink your soul kind of turrets that'll shoot anybody dead who crosses the boundaries in certain areas so that we can remove armistice zones and just have good security that kills a fool if they act out. This is like the first step, but I think this is sort of going to be in like underground facilities and places where it can be more puzzle focused. Either way, this is a big tech advancement, and something to look out for. Heavy Battletech armor, the Palatino. New heavy Battletech armor for the game. Anybody who's been following Star Citizen for a while can see how much more armor and weapons they're adding over the last year. That's, I think, pretty clearly because those people have moved on from Squadron 42. They've done their work. And it's a clear sign of what happens when a dev can move off Squadron 42, how much more they can start putting into Star Citizen. We're seeing it from the Volt weapons, coming from the weapons content team. We do know that they have a couple more things to deliver that I'm sure are not that far away. They're not making it obvious, but like the Space AK, this thing can't be that far away. The Novia crossbow, they weren't dealing with that much stuff that blocked this after the fact. There's plenty of stuff that they've been working on that they have working with Squadron 42. And they have working in the engine that they only had a few more steps to go through. And when the devs can move off Squadron and just work on Star Citizen stuff, we start seeing regular drops of these kinds of armors. I've got the Palatino armor here. You can already earn it in the game. It's in loot boxes. Like man, if you've been playing Star Citizen for literally more than a year, let's say a year and a half, the idea of getting unique armors and stuff in loot boxes is... It's hard to fathom. This game has just felt so, like, I don't want to say a tech demo, but like there wasn't a lot to earn or do to earn and like shoot for in the game, you know? I'm tripping over my words because it's hard to, years of brain rot. It's just nice. I don't even like this armor. It's just nice to see stuff that's not going to the store or to the roadmap, but being added to the game for people to try and earn. And I'm seeing people in our own Discord server, in GII, in the community on YouTube and Twitter. People are just like putting out posts looking for buyers and sellers. And my friend Ollie, the other day, he was talking about an armor that he bought and was doing a whole video about how you could go and earn this armor and how much effort it took to get it. And I'm not big on that. I've never played MMOs, so I don't really understand everything about the addiction to grinding, the affliction that does come for the MMO player. That's something I'm slowly sliding myself into. But the fact that it exists in some way is pretty nice compared to what we used to have. We used to literally play this game so that we could just have fun. What do you mean earning stuff? We were just playing to have fun. The next update here in 4.3.2 is the Frontier Fighters finale. I covered that in a video as well just pretty recently. You've got new storyline possibilities, which are... sorry, not that. Looking over here, we go. So you're basically fighting for either the Headhunters or Citizens for Prosperity. These are two factions from earlier in the year, and this is what they call the A story for Star Citizen in 2025. This is mainly focused on pushing into the Pyro system, clearing out the hooligans, and stopping the Frontier Fighters who are like trying to disrupt the flow of things. They're trying to get in between your crazy massacre Headhunters and your low-key deep state instigators, Citizen for Prosperity. You pick your evil, guys. It's the Star Citizen universe. None of these teams are really good, but Prosperity is obviously a positive sounding thing, more positive than hunting heads. So I won't influence you any more than that, but this is going to be the next possible thing to do in the game. This is indeed an event, so not a sandbox activity. It's not always going to be around. This is something to do in the next month or so. So when 4.3.2 drops, check it out. It's not all combat focused. You can go and find some dead people and turn their bodies in, or at least report to somebody where their bodies are. Sorry, I gotta actually find the video showing this. And you can do, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, most of it's combat oriented, but you will have the opportunity to do several different missions throughout the Stanton and the Pyro system for this. So keep an eye out for that in the second half of October. The Yormandi is a large creature introduced in 4.3.2, lurking in the depths of the Onyx facilities. It's also coming with its own cave deep within the Site B at the Onyx facilities, hidden within its lair, waiting to be uncovered. We actually got a picture of the Yormandi in the Spectrum post, so you can see what it looks like. It's a snake guy. Boop boop. Big friend, new friend. It's a boss battle, and it probably is going to use a lot of the same animations as the other worms that we have in the game. It's the your content, playability, bug fixes, and polish. Or not polish, but like, you know, doing stability stuff. And that means they're probably going to do more of these, I don't want to say recycled enemies. It's not recycled. It's using the same animations, but it's all different art concepts. It's a different place. If it fights differently, I haven't seen it yet. All right. So I'm not going to judge it until I see it. If it fights differently, if it requires different strategy and gameplay elements than what we've seen from the other worms and snakes that we've gotten this year, then I think it offers another opportunity. And I think that's good for the game overall. All of this stuff, just like keep in mind, all of these things have to factor into 1.0. It's really easy to get caught up in thinking about how this affects us right now in this quarter as we want to play the game now. But all of these things need to add up to being small little storylines and tasks and things that people can do when they jump into Star Citizen every single week for their first 6 months of playing, right? And you need a lot of content to do that. So the fact that we would get an enemy like this that may or may not look more different or act more different than expected from the Apex Predator at ASD facilities in Pyro, I think can offer more variety than some people might expect from an MMO. And that comes from the fact that they've made a lot of money from this game, and they've allowed developers to do a lot of work at times when normally they would be crunching. I don't think we'd be getting this kind of content if CIG didn't have as good a funding year as they've had. That speaks towards something. And it's not a big deal really until they actually release the game and prove that they can get to the finish line. Like, let's not be premature in our praise. But I just like to look at how this is going as a development as well as a live game. What they're doing here to try and build out something for us to play in the meantime, but also building out something for people 3 years from now to play with a completely different mindset. It can't be easy. And I'm interested in how it turns out. Not saying it's going to be a success. I don't know. I don't think anybody could possibly know, but it's certainly fun to watch. And that has been your roadmap roundup for this week. It's not a big one. I didn't say it was, but it's the last one before CitizenCon, and all of our perception is probably going to change once we see whatever they have to show in the 2 hours during this weekend. So if you haven't seen it, I already scheduled the live stream. If you want to come and hang out with us for the live show, we'll be doing a little look into the in-person meeting that we're doing for CitizenCon. I won't be probably talking to chat that much, but I hope it offers some entertainment alongside the stream. And if you would like to dip into our ongoing sponsor, this video is not sponsored at all. So this is not part of what I'm doing on the main channel. But I also feel like people could benefit from the fact that the Tobii eye tracker is 15% off. I'm just letting you guys know. It is currently on sale for CitizenCon, so you can check that out. And if you use the code SPACETOMATO and the link in the video description, it obviously helps us. But it's whatever. I just want to let you guys know because I know some people like that eye tracker, and 15% is not bad. Either way, hope you got something out of this roadmap roundup. Thank you for checking this one out. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, y'all.